just kind of had a few questions, and I'm coming to you like respectfully because I have no intention of being rude or anything, despite what you may think. I will be voting for the Democratic Party. Hold your booze. Hold your booze. I was
You kind of invited them, honestly.
Yeah, probably.
Just get them out, guys. Get it out.
Yeah, but it's okay. I don't really
All right,
care.
now enough. Stop it.
Yeah, no, but I don't really care. Because honestly, I honestly feel
Be
like
nice, guy.
the only way to unite the country is to unite the parties. Even though you disagree on some things, you're not gonna get anything better unless you come together. So I kind of don't understand why y'all turn against each other. But that's not the point I'm trying to make. I have multiple things. Because like 3 days ago, I had no intention of voting whatsoever. Because I had heard what my friend said about the Democratic side. Can you please shut up while I'm talking?
Just don't let it get to you, please.
Okay, because it's just disrespectful. But so I had people telling me about the Democratic Party, like different stuff. They were like, "This is good because of this," and then I had my family. They're like, "Well, Trump's good because of this." So then I just started researching, literally 3 days ago, and I fell down this whole like rabbit hole of so much stuff. That's why I will be voting for the Democratic
Can
Party.
I ask you, and it's not your question, what did you find persuasive enough to convince you to vote for Democrats?
Well, so you talked about Trump creating safe cities, safe streets, just a safe country, but you know about his rally where he said that he wants 1 full day of police retaliation to eradicate crime. You know about that? Are you familiar with the Night of Broken Glass? Kristallnacht, World War II. Are you familiar with that?
Well, I'm intimately familiar. I'm trying to understand the connection. Are we doing the Nazi thing again, or like are we, like?
There's honestly.
So crime was lower under Trump than under Kamala and Joe Biden. So I'm not like much lower. Violent crime was substantially and sizably lower in every major metro area and every major state.
Okay, I'll give you that one, because. Like I said, I just started researching like 3 days ago.
For sure.
I'm not like everybody else here where
That's
I've just been plotting this all.
But tell me what,
you know.
it's not your question. I just want to know as someone who does this for a living, because then I can get better. What did you find that you're like, now I'm voting for the Democrat Party? What made that click?
Okay, so the thing with me was my mom kept telling me, oh, go look at the websites. You have to look at the political party websites. So I'm like, okay, fine. Like, I'll look at those too. And so I did, even though those are the most biased sources you're going to get because they're, you know. I was looking under economy because that's everyone's main argument about Trump. They're like, oh, well, I don't like him, but I like his policies. So I wanted to look at his policies. So then I did, and they were a little too strangely similar to the ones I was looking at the Democratic Party. So I'm like, how am I supposed to know which one to believe? Like you're saying.
Good question. It's a great question. So which one did it better for 4 years? Kamala and Joe or Trump?
Are we not under Trump's tax policy right now? Till 2025?
Well, first of all, tax policy is a small part of economic policy. I mean, Joe Biden.
We're going to go into $2 trillion in debt by 2028 because of his tax policy.
That's actually not true.
It actually is true.
No, actually, so what the tax cut actually did is spur economic growth. And what you're talking about is not annualized deficits. You're talking about cumulative debt over 7 to 8 years. But you know what the tax cuts did? It actually cut your taxes. It was the largest middle class tax cut in American history. Now, I just want to ask a question. It's not a trick question. 75% of Americans say the economy was better under Trump.
Were we not under Obama's tax policy? And plus the pandemic, that's not really normal. So of course the economy is going.
Well, hold on. You got to stop with this like Obama, Trump. You have to take ownership of your administration. So Trump will take ownership. He had the lowest unemployment, wages were going up, no inflation, housing boom. Why is that? He kept energy prices low, cut tax for middle-class families, got rid of stupid regulation, and we saw an economic renaissance. And American people remember how good that economy was, guys? It was amazing. And we don't have that now.
So would you say he's a good businessman?
Yeah, I mean, he's a multi-billionaire.
What about his multiple businesses that have went into bankruptcy?
Yeah, I mean, look, you're going to fail sometimes when you do businesses. But
10 times?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's 78 years old. I mean, how many billions have you made?
You know, he was also born into it.
Well, he was not born a billionaire. He was given a couple $1 million, but turning a couple $1 million into $6 billion is like the greatest ROI in the history. And by the way, not only that, he helped redefine the Plaza Hotel, the Grand Hyatt, the Trump Hotel, the Trump Doral. I mean, some of the greatest properties you could imagine. pretty impressive business record, I would say. But that doesn't matter. Was he a good president? Of course he was.
Okay. So another thing that also is kind of like skewing my vote. So everyone keeps telling me, oh my God, like everything he's saying is being taken out of context. He doesn't really mean it. Okay, so he didn't mean it when he said that he wants generals like Hitler had.
He never said that.
Did he not?
He did not. It's been completely debunked, and 3 people around him said that is a complete fabrication.
Definitely.
Let me ask you a question. What do you want to do with your life?
Honestly, I haven't quite figured it out, which I know you're going to say college is a scam.
What
don't
are
know
you
what you're doing. Clinical laboratory science and psychology with a minor in criminal justice.
So you want to be able to own a home?
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, under Kamala, it requires $135,000 a year to own a home. Under Trump, it was $75,000 a year.
Interesting. I kind of just don't.
You care about ending war? Yeah, war's bad.
Did he like actually end war?
Yeah, it was the first president in 32 years for no new wars for 4 years.
Interesting.
New war under Obama, new war under Bush, new war under Clinton, new war under Biden. No new wars under Donald Trump 4 years.
Right. So hold on, I had another point. I had a lot. I've been.
Let me ask you this: what would change your vote for Trump, if anything?
Probably a lot. It would probably take a lot, because I mean the fact that he hasn't won the popular vote both terms that he ran, it's.
You know what that's like saying? That's like saying, well, I know the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. I totally get that, but did you guys know that the Ravens, they got more yards? It's a completely irrelevant criteria. You run to win the electoral vote. It's like, no, but we kicked more field goals. Yeah, but did you have more points? So the Electoral College is the ultimate tally of points, not how many yards you get.
Right. Which, I mean, I'm still trying to follow up on all that.
For sure, I get that.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Michaela.
Michaela, I want to get to the next question. I want you to think about what we said. Try to follow some of our accounts. If not, that's fine. There's a lot of propaganda out there. Try to bring down the noise. And I will say this. Donald Trump has people around him, 2 former Democrats that ran for the presidency, Bobby Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard. Do you know who those people are? If not, that's okay.
No.
You should do research. They're former Democrats that ran for the presidency, and they're behind Trump because Trump is a ticket that's unifying the country and will make the country great again.
What about the 13 different people that worked alongside of him, including his vice president?
Yeah, the people he fired. I think it's awesome.
They are not with him.
No, I think it's awesome they're against him.
That's what I'm saying.
No, you know why they're against him? Because he's a threat to the system they represent. Because we're actually going to have a voice against the warmongers and the neocons and the corporate interests.
Okay.
And over 300 former generals and military officers just endorsed Trump. So, just the other day. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Melinda, and I'm here to say that Trump is very anti-American. He's anti-American, he's pro-violence, and he's pro-war.
Give one example where he's pro-war.
Well, he's very pro-war when it comes to sowing division within the American people itself. So, in a recent interview, I think was at Fox News, he talked about the enemy within. He also talking about.
He's been shot at twice, and is it fair to call that? Is that fair to call somebody who's shooting at him an enemy? Is that a fair game or not?
By a fellow Republican.
Well, hold on.
So they were Republican. They were registered Republican.
Ryan Ruth was not a registered Republican. And
yes,
by the way, it should not matter who their party affiliation is. We should agree that if someone gets shot at and he mentions enemy within, he probably gets a pass on that, yeah?
I mean, people also shot at Mussolini, right? But
do you think Trump and Mussolini are moral equivalents?
Well, that wasn't the example here.
No, you brought up Mussolini, I didn't.
Well, yeah, the reason why I brought up Mussolini is because obviously we know that people who we call that pro-war.
But just to John Trump's quote on that was just we're leveling just on the same facts.
Yeah.
He said, these radical lunatics are the enemy within. He has been shot at twice. I would call those people radical lunatics or enemy within. Do you disagree with that characterization?
By his own side. But when he was talking about the lunatics within, am I too close to the mic?
Go ahead.
He was not shot at by his own side.
They were registered Republicans.
No, again, Ryan Ruth was not a registered Republican.
Yeah, he was.
No, he was not. Okay.
Yeah, he was.
He donated.
Anyone who shoots at you is not on your side.
Again.
There's also common talking point when it comes to talking. A common talking point Republicans have is that there was no new wars when he
Yeah, what war did he start?
Well, when it comes to no new wars, he assassinated Soleimani.
No, that's not a war. That's a specific military action. What was the war that Trump started?
Well, there was no war that Joe Biden started either.
Well, of course there was. He financed the Russian-Ukrainian war, and he
who invaded Ukraine?
Hold
Was
on,
it
he blew
Russia
up.
or
So
America?
how much do you know about the Istanbul meeting 5 days into the war between Tony Blinken, Boris Johnson, and the Russian ambassador? So
I'm not sure, but did
you
America
don't know. That's
invade
fine.
Ukraine? Or
Hold on
did
a second,
Russia
because
invade
we
Ukraine?
actually had a chance to have a peace deal 5 days into the war, and it was the United States of America that came in and blew up the peace deal in Istanbul, Turkey. The audience will tell you I'm right. It was our own government that wanted the war to continue. So that's Joe Biden's war.
Well, no, there's more to that. It's a little hot outside, so I can't do my research right now. But when it comes to
Why does the
this,
temperature impact your research? I don't understand.
Well, it's hot outside. I've been here all day, so my brain's a little fuzzy. So, number one, when it comes to like this idea that Trump is anti-war or there was no new wars under Trump,
He's anti-war.
There was plenty of wars that were going on
you-
during Trump's time.
Can you name them,
And
though?
he's also very pro dictators. Like he's friends with Kim Jong Un. He talks highly.
So we were on the verge
Russia.
of war with North Korea when Barack Obama left the Oval Office. The thing he told Donald Trump is our top threat is North Korea. I don't care if Donald Trump calls Kim Jong Un a friend or not. He got us off the brink of war with North Korea, which is actually what I care about.
We were not really on the brink of war when it comes
No,
to
it's
that.
correct.
Barack Obama thought we were.
Obama said to
Not
Donald
really.
Trump, you need to watch out for two things, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn and North Korea. That were the only two things Obama said to him in Obama's own telling of events in that short Oval Office meeting. So Obama even said North Korea is your number one threat.
Well, I disagree with Obama. North Korea was not our number one threat. North Korea is an ant compared to America.
Let me ask you, you're anti-war? Are you anti-war?
Very anti.
Okay, do you believe the Russia-Ukraine war needs to come to an end?
Yes, Russia needs
Which
to
is
end
the
it.
candidate which has said that we need to end the Russia-Ukraine war? Which is the candidate who said we need to continue funding the Russia-Ukraine war?
Trump is for backing up Putin.
Trump is for ending the Russia-Ukraine war. That's what he said. Kamala Harris is continuing to fund the Russia-Ukraine war and said she would continue to
No,
vote in favor of it.
She's
Under which candidate was there a
the-
major war in the Middle East? Was there a major war in the Middle East under Donald Trump?
To the first point, when it comes to Ukraine and Russia, America is funding the Ukraine because of agreement we had in 2014. We're holding up a peace treaty with NATO that if any country who wants to join
Is
NATO,
Ukraine part of NATO?
I was about to finish. If any country who wants to be a part of NATO gets sort of bombarded from imperialist other countries like Russia, we have to, as our duty, and it's not just America giving Ukraine money, as our duty signed in the treaty that we have with them, we have to give them some type of funding.
Yeah, so look, there's the NATO treaty that actually says we're going to defend a NATO ally, Article 5. That doesn't apply to Ukraine because Ukraine is not a member of NATO.
I know what you're talking about.
Why was Ukraine not a member yet? Because Russia invaded them.
That's not
because
correct.
they wanted to be
No,
a
Ukraine
member.
should never. Do you think Ukraine should be part of NATO?
Yes, of course.
Whoa, okay, that's remarkable.
Yeah, of course.
So the U.S. actually made a commitment back in 1990 to say that NATO would expand not 1 inch past East Germany. Our Secretary of State made that commitment to his counterpart actually it was Gorbachev who led the Soviet Union. So we've actually, in some ways, been responsible for creating the conditions that have created global instability, but that's actually gone up under Joe Biden. So I'm with you on being anti-war. I'll just look at what were the major wars under Donald Trump. We still haven't named one. What are the major wars under Joe Biden? We have several, from what's going on in the Middle East,
So,
Israel, Hamas, to Russia, Ukraine, and I judge based on results.
Clarifying question. When you say new wars under Joe Biden, is that
Yes.
implying that Joe Biden started these wars?
No,
They
he-
occurred
he-
under his administration.
and supported and subsidized them.
So,
paid for them.
For example, Donald Trump prevented
Okay.
an Israeli-Hamas war
How?
through the Abraham Accords. The Abraham Accords was bringing all the people to the table, cut Palestinian Authority funding, also cut Iranian funding so that the Iran piggy bank could not fund terror throughout the region, brought Saudi Arabia, the United Emirates, Bahrain, and Israel in the room, and signed a historic once-in-a-generation peace deal between those Arab partners and Israel, and that region was the quietest it ever was in 50 years. With Russia, Ukraine, he told Vladimir Putin, you go into Ukraine, I will bomb Moscow immediately. It's interesting, under George W. Bush, Vladimir Putin took Georgia. Under Obama, he took Crimea. Under Biden, he took the Donbass. Under Trump, he didn't take anything. Why is that?
Under
Trump, Vladimir Putin did not gain a square inch of new territory. Why is that?
Trump literally talks about deals that or secret meetings that he
No,
had.
but
with
it's just a
Putin.
very simple question. If Trump was bought by Putin or was friends with Putin, why did Putin not expand his country under Trump? And every other president he expanded his country under.
What do you mean?
So under
did.
Bush, Russia got bigger. Under Obama, Russia got bigger. Under Biden, Russia got bigger. Under Trump, Russia stayed the same. Why is that?
Russia didn't stay the same. They tried to invade Ukraine.
No,
Not under Trump.
Not under Trump. That invasion was in February
But
2022.
Trump supports Putin.
Well, no, he
supports
doesn't
that.
actually. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
He talks about how good Putin was.
No, he believes in
also talks-
diplomacy. For example, do you believe
That's
that
not
FDR was
diplomacy.
right in partnering with Joseph Stalin to defeat Hitler?
Yes.
Okay, so at times you have to partner with really bad people for a broader goal. That is called.
But Ukraine is not the enemy.
Well, we're not saying that. You know who is the enemy? China is the enemy.
And Russia.
Well, Russia's not the enemy exactly. How many of your friends have died because of Russians?
How many of your friends died because of Ukraine?
A lot of your friends have died here because of the cartels. And we don't call them an enemy. And they are an enemy within. So when Donald Trump is talking about the enemy within, he's talking about the cartels that are here, that are poisoning our streets with drugs, that are bringing illegal guns into the country. That is the enemy within. Yet we say Russia is an enemy. Russia has never attacked the United States of America.
There is proof that Russia has been funding far-right groups in America. Russia is also very tied to a lot of prominent right-leaning figures. There's a lot of Russian money funding and right-wing
In order to
circles.
play that out, first of all, you're talking about like a couple right-wing podcasters that received Russian cash.
Not
but
a couple.
Just so we're clear, Hillary Clinton received money from the mayor of Moscow's wife. So did Hunter Biden. They give money all across the political spectrum. But I just want to be very clear because I think it's important. Can you show me one new ground war that started under Donald Trump for his 4 years?
There was no new wars under Joe Biden either that he started.
Well,
Ukraine, Russia, and the Hamas-Israel war
Not to
started
mention
under Joe
Yemen.
Biden's watch. Do you
Joe
believe it's
Biden
the
did
job?
not
Do you,
start that.
do you believe it's the job of the United States Commander-in-Chief to lead by securing peace and reducing risk for the United States? Do you
Yes.
believe that? I think you probably do.
Of course.
And do you believe that you should judge a president based on their results or based on their words?
Both.
Okay. So I judge based on results. And on the basis of those results, we had no new wars under Donald Trump. We have at least 2 major new wars under Biden. And for my part, I don't care whether Donald Trump calls some other world leader a friend or not. What I care about is whether he's advancing American interests.
Trump
That's
also
what wins in the
talks about putting more funding into Israel to further the genocide of the Palestinians.
Okay, we've already
So how is
discussed
that-
that earlier, but I'm guessing you're voting for Kamala Harris. I'm just kind of guessing. Am I right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes. I'm not a Kamala stan. So.
Okay, fair. Why is that?
It's complicated, but
end. Go ahead. This is interesting.
well, no, it's complicated. I'm more anti-Trump than I am pro Kamala Harris. But that's besides.
What do
the
you think
point.
is important for the country?
I think. Well,
Pick your top 2 issues. What are the top 2 issues for the country?
the top 2 issues for the country is
What do you want to see happen in the next 4 years?
getting rid of disinformation, and also securing more hope in our system.
So disinformation is protected by the First Amendment. You would agree?
Yes. Disinformation when it comes to news outlets is what I'm mainly talking
So
about.
you and I both agree we should pull CNN's broadcasting license.
more like Fox News.
No, that's the point, is that all of a sudden CNN has a right to be able to do what they do. Fox
Well,
has a right
Fox News is actually currently, I think about a year ago, is going through a defamatory
do you think that
court case.
Do you think
So-
that it should be legal to have different opinions? Of course you do. So where
Illegal?
do you legal.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm mainly talking about news corporations or like news outlets, and also big media figures who can spin sort of disinformation, and that can swing the election. For example, like Elon Musk targeting people on his platform that are liberal and targeting or like pushing out.
Why should that be illegal?
Because he's trying to sway the election.
So he's a citizen. Should Taylor Swift not be able to speak about? She's swaying the election.
Well, no.
How is Taylor Swift and Elon Musk different? She's far more popular than Elon Musk.
Because Elon Musk on his platform is prohibiting information about Kamala Harris.
No, he's not.
policy.
So
Yes,
let me just say one thing. We're all against disinformation here, but let me just ask you 2 pieces of disinformation that we know are disinformation. Where did the pandemic begin?
In China.
In a lab?
No.
You don't think it began in a lab in China because that's not widely accepted that that's where it began. Yet if you
No.
said that in 2020, And I don't blame you. I blame the fact that we created disinformation in this country.
Yeah, you're a victim of disinformation.
Because it was created in a lab.
It was created in a lab in
Not
Wuhan.
in a bat cave. Yeah.
And I don't even blame you. I don't even
wasn't
blame
in
you
a bat
because the
cave.
government stopped you from being able to know that. So right now we're having a conversation where you believe that the pandemic did not begin, that COVID-19 did not begin in a lab in China, because guess what? That's exactly what our government required you to believe.
What
If
evidence
anybody
do
said
you
it
have
did,
that
they
was
required it to
created
be
in a lab?
censored.
What
Well,
evidence do you have that was created in a lab?
you have actually you now
It-
actually have
it's
the
a lot.
genetics of the virus to be able to go back to actually the lab that was manipulating a non-human virus. So it was never a naturally occurring virus. The only way that they now know based on the genes.
SARS is not a naturally occurring virus?
SARS-CoV-2.
SARS-CoV-2 is not.
It's current.
How?
news- Again,
It
this
spreads.
Is,
It was
this is-
designed to spread more
this is
rapidly, which
too
is exactly
rabbit
why I
hole.
did.
How?
But suffice to say that now at least every major scientist or medical researcher today who said 2 years ago that it did not believes this is the most likely origin of the pandemic, and yet most of the public, including even yourself, believes what the government told us 2 years ago. That's actual disinformation. Let me ask you another thing. Was the Hunter Biden laptop story on the eve of the last election, the 2020 presidential election? There was a lot of compromising information about Hunter Biden found on a laptop that was found about a month before the election. Was that made up or was that actually true?
Hunter Biden was prosecuted.
No, was the laptop story, was it true or false?
It doesn't matter. He was
Turns
not
out it
running
was
for
true, but you were
presidency.
told it was false. So we share with you a passion
Who
for
said it was false?
getting rid of disinformation. The
U-
way we
US
do it is
intel
through free
agencies.
speech.
The,
Yeah.
the Central Intelligence Agency came out and signed a letter, 50 of them, saying that this was Russian disinformation. I lost my Twitter account because I started to share the Hunter Biden laptop during the election. 1 in 4 swing voters during the 2020 election said they would have voted differently if they knew about the Hunter Biden laptop. That's
But
our own government.
Hunter
And that's
Biden's not running for
disinformation.
presidency.
Yeah, but his dad was all throughout the laptop talking about foreign deals, Chinese cash, Ukrainian meetings, Russian deals. All that was in the laptop.
Hunter Biden was prosecuted.
Right, that's not the
Just
point.
like how Trump was prosecuted.
Right.
34
So-
felons.
Yeah, we got that. So I'm going back, though, to the laptop. Our own government came in and said that that laptop was Russian disinformation. Let me ask you a question, though. Do you believe that saying that closing schools during COVID was a good thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Largely.
That is now widely accepted as being epidemiologically wrong, morally wrong.
Who?
Everything.
We got a lot of kids who are now suffering from mental health disorders. You have a lot of kids who have failed to acclimate socially, who are 2, 3, 4 years old, that grew up into that, never going to be the same again.
More importantly, should I have been able to
That's
say
not true.
during the pandemic that closing schools was wrong?
You as an individual?
And my media company.
Your media company? Probably not. But you as an individual? Sure.
So we're going to I agree on this one.
No,
we're going to agree to disagree. We
You
have a
have a
different point of
Stalinist
view.
view of speech, basically.
Well, I mean,
Stalinist.
Charlie, I think we even the labels aside, if somebody believes that you should not have been able to say during the pandemic that schools should remain open, if it's your belief that a media company should not have been allowed to say that, then I think if you're voting for Kamala Harris, you are voting for the right candidate for you. I truly believe that.
Okay, sure.
She is the censorship candidate. Her belief of the world
No, I-
is that if Charlie
in
Kirk
fairness.
and Elon Musk get too
So
powerful,
when Donald Trump said that people who kneel for the national anthem should go to jail, is that free speech?
well, he never said they should go to jail. He
Yes,
said
he did.
they're not patriotic. He never
And
said they
he's-
should go to jail.
yes, he did.
Again,
You
I
can look
hate.
that up.
He never said they should go to jail.
Yes, he did.
Okay, see this again. You are a victim of disinformation.
No, I'm
Let me
not.
ask you just one more question. Can men give birth?
Can men give birth?
Yeah.
If they're transgender.
So again, I mean, the beauty of
That's
this
a fact.
country, no, but the beauty of this country is that she gets to have that view and vote for who she wants. And I think we have laid out here, this is a Kamala Harris voter, right? If you believe men can give birth, vote for Kamala Harris, not Donald Trump. If you believe that you should not have been allowed to say as a media company that schools should not have closed during COVID-19, that you should have been banned from saying it, absolutely Kamala Harris is your candidate, not Donald Trump.
Your
but
media,
this
your
lays
media
out this
company
lays
should
out the
not-
choice in the
Your
election.
media company should not put out disinformation.
But who? Let me just one more question. Who judges its disinformation? Who's in charge of that standard?
It depends on what it is. If we're talking about COVID, we should look for the medical scientists and doctors.
Were they wrong about anything during COVID?
Some things.
So then why should we give them unilateral authority? This is where we're
Well,
different.
that's
we believe the
this
first.
is science, not scripture. So science can be changed. Yes, that's how science works. It always evolves. We believe that the Earth was in the center of the universe.
Should a
then
media
science
company
evolved.
be allowed to say that climate change is not an existential risk to humanity?
It depends on what type of data that they're putting out.
So if a media company says the climate change agenda is made up on false premises and that, you know what, global surface temperature should be allowed to go up? Should they be banned from saying it?
Should a media company say that bleach is good to drink?
They should be allowed to say
First
it.
of all, that
They
never
should be allowed
happened.
to say it.
That never happened. Never happened.
They
never
should be allowed
happened.
to say that?
And they should be allowed to say it, of course, because the First Amendment protects all speech, hate speech, disinformation, misinformation, and correct speech. You cannot police
For individual.
and companies and individuals, LLCs.
Companies
social
are run by individuals.
Platforms. Free speech transcends all platforms all the time, and you cannot all of a sudden.
I think this is useful because I do think there's a difference in
it's
opinion.
so illuminating.
And if you have the views you do, I do think Kamala Harris is your candidate.
And the final point
And the
is
beauty of
under,
our country is we get to
under
do
your
this.
view, last thing, let's say Trump wins and becomes supreme dictator of America. Why would you give him the power to shut up liberal media?
What?
You believe that the experts or whatever should be able to close disinformation. If Trump were to win, why would you give him that power to shut up liberal media?
If the liberal media is wrong?
But Trump would say they're wrong, so he'll shut it up. But that's the point.
Is Trump an expert?
Okay, that's the point, is that at some point, that's why you should have First Amendment, because whoever's in charge gets to determine what is right or wrong. That is what Orwell wrote about.
When it comes to medical and scientific things
sci-
like that, it should be.
They
we should
were
look
wrong
for-
about everything. They were wrong about 6 feet to slow the spread. They were wrong about the vaccine, safe and effective. They were
Wait,
They were wrong about whether the Earth revolves around the sun, by the way.
the heliocentric
They've been
theory
wrong
of
for
And
a
guess
long
who
time.
debunked that?
The
Other
experts,
scientists.
through
And
free
not
speech,
politicians, right?
through free speech and open debate,
Yeah,
which we need more of in the
open
country.
debate
not less.
gets you to truth, not totalitarianism. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Should I go this way?
I feel bad.
That is one of the scariest I've heard in my 12 years of doing this.
She's a victim. I mean, I'm not mad at her.
No, I mean, that's the death of the country if you just say I should be able to shut you up because...
I'm not mad at her, man.
I'm not. I'm just saying it's so-
this
it's
is a victim.
bone-chilling.
This is a victim of what's going on in the
It's
country.
bone-chilling.
Hi. I don't
Hello.
really have a specific question. What is something that you like to debate about?
Anything? What's on your mind? I want to make it more fair for you. I'm not here to pick debates. I'm here to try to teach. So, what do you tend to be more conservative or liberal?
More liberal.
Okay. Tell me how you got to that way, and tell me. This is not a trick. I'm not here to debate college kids. I'm here to try to teach. If someone debates me, I'll debate back. But
I mean, it's kind of just what aligns with my morals. I'm myself. I'm a queer person. And I know that you have a lot of stuff that you wouldn't agree with me on. But I think it's important to actually debate the topics and not just fight. So
I totally agree. Can I ask a dumb question?
yeah.
When I grew up, calling someone queer was like a slur. Can you tell me what that means? I mean that sincerely. And how is it different than just saying you're lesbian or bisexual or gay?
So it can be different for everyone because gender, sexuality, it's a spectrum just like anything else. And for me personally, I like everyone.
No, but what does queer mean, though?
Queer, it's just a label.
What does the label mean?
It's different for everyone.
Okay. No, I know, but that doesn't...
I hear people going, "Oh my God."
No, I just want
It's-
I want a definition. I mean, I'm not trying to put you as a trap, though. I mean this because when I grew up, if I called somebody queer, I would get in trouble. Just give me like a working definition.
Yeah, so queer is just something that you identify as with your sexuality. It can be related to gender too.
Right, but how do you know once you achieve queer? Like, what is the... Like, can you give me... saying that anybody can be it doesn't tell me what that thing is. That makes sense, though? Like, it'd be like saying... you become an adult when you feel like you're an adult. I mean, you have to say that there is an objective.
I'm glad that everyone's having so much fun.
Well,
with
they're
this.
laughing because I'm trying to glean like what it means.
Yeah.
Because when someone says queer, that doesn't tell me anything.
Yeah, so that's what a debate is for. For thank you. So, it's literally just a identity.
Right. Okay. But I know. Right. But like what?
Wow, that's a very interesting one. Listening to Charlie Kirk debating three women. But as a matter of fact, after listening to some of these things that these women we are talking about, then this makes me to think that where are we going as a nation if we should be having these women, you understand, thinking the way they are thinking. And I think this is one of the reasons why Charlie Kirk is saying that college is a scam. If this is the kind of mentality these college kids, you understand, are taking, then it shows that parents have a lot, you understand, to do. Because if I should be a parent and then listening to my kids having this kind of mentality, then this kind of bring a lot of question about how they reason and think. But of course, I know that a lot of you have thought an opinion, you understand, concerning this, and I want to hear your thought at the comment section. And truth about it is, I don't know how these women are feeling now that Trump actually came out victoriously in the election. But then, let me see your thought and opinion at the comment section, and may God bless you as you do so. So, goodbye and have a wonderful day.